Well, I don't know exactly. I don't know what how everyone else felt when war broke out. I was scared to death, and I didn't want to hear it. And we were told that Neville Chamberlain was going to give a speech at a certain time. I can't remember what it was. And I just couldn't stay in the house, so I took our dog for a walk. But I forgot that in England at that time, certainly, not many people had air conditioning, but everybody had windows, and we liked to have our windows open. And so as I walked the dog, I heard it all anyway. And so it didn't help me any.
I only listen to BBC World Service in the car for the same reason I come here and enjoy conversations here. After 30-something years being in America, I still think in English, not American. My idioms, my phraseology, my base reference point culturally is English. So is theirs. And so you don't have to think, you can just talk. There's no translating anything in your mind, no worrying about what you might have said or how that leaves a puzzled look on someone's face. And there are shared cultural experiences that span generations. England will always be England. I mean, whether you've been here 70 years, 65 years, or 30 years, England is England, right? It just is. It just is. I'm glad I found a group of ladies that I can get together with once a month and share a little bit of home and the rest of my life. I'm an American.
They do speak their own language. And it was interesting to me growing up with two British parents and hearing, particularly from my mom, they're from very different parts of England, all these little, like, I remember one day one of you said something about ketchup. I'll go pinch some off that table over there. And I grew up with that kind of talk, and it's fun for me to hear. I know what that means. But.
Getting off the plane, when you get off the plane, your time is off anyway. I just remember walking out the airport, and I saw these huge cars. I mean, they were, 1976 cars. They were like 30 feet long. And it was just like, oh my gosh.
One of those in London.
Right. And that was so funny because when my sister came over here one time, they do have American cars in England, and she says, American cars over here aren't as big as they are in England, because in England they must look ginormous, and over here they just fit in. So no, they're the same size. They're just driving on those little English roads.
Especially when Liz talks about going to the commissary and buying Bisto, and Bisto is something I've never found in the States.
It's like a gravy.
It's a gravy mix.
Right.
It's just
a mix.
Yeah, and she goes about once a month, and and then Branston pickle. I hadn't thought of Branston pickle for years, and and you go, oh yes, you remember some of the things you used to love and you've done without for years. Piccalilli is another one. Yeah. Occasionally somebody will say to me, where are you from? You've got an accent. But I was in England last April, and they all say, oh, you're an American. So, and that's hard. I think I kept my English accent pretty well until my children started school. And somehow or another, they came home with Americanisms and talking around the table, and so a little bit, you lose a little bit, very, very gradually. I still say tomato because the other one sounds so foreign.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, I don't notice that I have any English accent left. I don't notice at all, really. I don't sound English to me.